What's up, guys? It's your boy Scion, and I'm back. And it's been a long time. It's been a really long time. And I'm going to explain that towards the end of the video, why it's been a long time. But we have a topic today. Of course, you know it's the Storm Files, and if it's the Storm Files, so what I do in the Storm Files, if you're new to this and haven't seen me, I've been a Warframe YouTuber for a very long time. I stopped as of like 2 or 3 months ago because I was a little bit burned out of the game. It's not that I didn't I dislike the game. It's not like that. It's just that sometimes you just really do need to give yourself a little perspective. So, like I said, we have a topic today, and my topic is basically filling in the blanks with Warframe. And I like Warframe. I think it's a pretty good game, but the problem that I have with Warframe is there's a lot of blanks that need to be filled in. And what I mean by that is that you have a point in the game where it's like a dead time in between content. And I always say that's a failure on the game design when there's dead time. When people say, you know what, maybe I should go play something else. Maybe, I should come back in 2 or 3 weeks. That's bad because that's 2 or 3 weeks that the people are not playing the game, that you just not getting that population into the game, that they're not buying any type of platinum and stuff like that. So I like to make some suggestions and just talk about a few things. The first thing I want to hit up is something that's already been talked about in the dev stream, and that's putting an actual quest system in the game. This needs to actually happen. This really needs to actually happen because that would fill in. That would fill in everything, and then allow people to make quests, because then you wouldn't have to go so crazy as a developer making quests. If people can make quests and make them valid and just kind of like fanfic and put lore into the game, and then you might have it to the point where people start making popular quests where it's a thing in the game. This happens in Neverwinter, this happens in Star Trek Online. Like, you have certain people who make such awesome quests that they're like better quests than the people who actually making the game make. There's going to be talented people like that out there, and I think that this game is missing out on stuff like that because that could happen in this game. Yeah, I don't know from a developer standpoint how hard that would be because I didn't make the game, this particular game. Like, I don't know what's the backbone of this game, so I can't just speak for them like that, but I am suggesting that something like that happen because that'll take a lot of pressure off having to always put out content in that dead time. You don't want that dead time. You don't want it where you go in and say, hey, you playing Warframe? I'm like, nah, I got everything. I done grinded everything out. And see, that's another thing. You don't want people to always have to feel that they just have to always grind everything out. So to have an actual quest system would be awesome. They actually give something on that. I'm gonna save it for a little bit later, but there's another thing that you can actually do with the quest system that I feel is needed. But I'm gonna talk about that at the end. Next, I want to talk about make something that's prevalent all the way in the game, like a constant storyline all the way that's always happening in the game. We have events and everything else like that, and like the problem is that this game needs the actual story mode. It really does. Like, you need to make sense of why you're doing things. You need to make sense of why you're always running around and everything else. Everything doesn't always have to be a mystery. Start telling the story. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, that should be a definite possible thing that should happen. It should, if it's not being thought about right now, it should be like put to the forefront. Start telling the story. Start giving us a reason why all the frames are here. But again, I'm gonna talk about the frames at the end. What I would like to see is a storyline for every planet. Give a planet a reason for actually being there. Give us a reason for actually being there. Like, you have the guys who come in at the end. Like, the only story that you really get is when you come and fight the guy, and then Lotus is like, hey, this guy's a bad guy. You gotta go get him. Why? What's the reason? Like, who says that we're not the bad guys? Like, who's the law? Like, we're the law? Who deputized us? The Lotus? Like you see, like, all this is a problem. It doesn't make any sense, to be honest with you. Realistically, I know D doesn't like that, but we're the ones who are running around like the vigilantes. Like, what's the law here? Is there any type of law? Like, there really just needs to be something where, like, it just makes sense. In that sense that we're doing what we're doing. So it needs to be story. You gotta work on the story. It has to be everywhere. It can't just be in one part of the game. Every part of the game needs to have story. And That should be the most important thing that happens right now, to be honest with you. You have the core base game. It's like someone made a game and stripped out all the story. That's what Warframe feels like right now. Like you just run around getting gear and everything else, and you even got raids and there's no story, to be honest with you. It's just when you go in there you get told something about the Lotus and that's it. There needs to be cinematics, there needs to be talking, there needs to be like seeing frames going some places to say, hey, I don't like this guy like messed with my mom or something like that. Then that has to happen, because you're gonna have a shallow game like how it feels right now, like we just run around grinding all the time. Now with that said, that doesn't make the game bad, once again, and this is my opinion, but what it does is it makes the game feel hollow, like it doesn't have a soul, like it's just there, like somebody made a human and they have no soul. That's pretty much what the game feels like. Is that human a bad person? No. Is that like you see what I mean? Like it just, there needs to be a soul. Now the next thing I actually want to touch on is, this is outside a little bit of the filling in the blanks, but it's part of the problem, really. DE, please stop catering to the people who don't want to work. And what I mean by that is that, like, they say, oh well, I don't want to grind out another thing, I don't want to do this rep right here. It's like, nah man, because you can't get things in life without working. And I always tell developers that all the time. You have to make people work. Understand you want to make certain things easy and you want to make the game streamlined. That's something different. That's fine. But when people are complaining that they don't want to work for something and, oh, this is taking too long and stuff like that, I draw the line at that. You need to work at stuff. You need to be able to have a sense of accomplishment, to feel that you showed skill and that you won. It should be skill for reward. It shouldn't be spent time and got the reward. Like that's a problem. Only login rewards should work like that. Nothing ever in the game should work like that unless it's trade skills. And this game really doesn't have trade skills. It kind of does, but that's none of that. None of that. You log on, you get loot. No, I've always was disgusted with that, because I don't go to work and automatically get overtime. So it shouldn't work like that in games either. I'm just totally being honest with that. Life should not reward you just for showing up. It just doesn't work like that. Any religion doesn't work like that. Like anything fun, like you don't automatically score a basket without shooting. Like you don't automatically get a goal in soccer without kicking the ball there. So it shouldn't automatically work like that in anything, in my opinion. But that's a side story for me. My last and final thing that I like to speak on in this Storm Files, which is just pretty much what you should have expected, is each Warframe needs their own story. They need their own quest line. There needs to be a reason for them to be there. Like what they need to have personality. I know, like, we're supposed to be like generalized and then you jump into a frame or whatever the hell else like that. Whatever you're supposed to be doing. Why is Ember running around burning the F out of people? Like, why is she there? Like, why does Oberon do anything? Why does Loki do anything? Why does Ash do anything? Like, they need to have individual storylines, and you be able to play out those storylines. Like what happened to Mirage? Why she ended up by herself and fighting things along. Like, let us live that out. Let us fight to the very end where she ends up being killed or dismembered or whatever else like that. And like in the lore, let us fight out the lore. Those are good ideas for story right there. You have them already in the game, so let us fight those particular things out. That's it for what I have right now. You guys be legendary, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Thanks for watching another video by me, Scion Storm. If you like what you see here, please by all means like, subscribe, share with all your friends. It really helps me out, and I appreciate everybody who stops by. One love, and be legendary. Peace.